there, Pat? You there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, one of my memories, my freshman year in 1986, I was right outside the Michigan ticket office and hopping out of a car on State Street because he got a parking spot on State Street then, as he can now. That's what you are when you're a big man on campus. Harbaugh, who was a quarterback with Jumbo Elliott hopping out of a car back in the day. He's saying all the right things here to Michigan. It's red meat for us Michigan folks, Pat.
Oh, I mean, you Michigan men love your tradition, love the Bo Schembechler hearkening back, and he absolutely has everybody eating out of the palm of his hand. But the great thing to me, Rich,
yes,
is not only can he deliver the tradition, but he can deliver the present and the future too. Brady Hoke could make you feel good about being a Michigan fan, but he couldn't win games. Harbaugh can do both.
So what's my reasonable expectation, Pat? What do you think?
This year's going to be difficult. I think the opener is very losable. Utah's a good team. It's on the road. Ohio State, you're not going to beat Ohio State, I don't think. Not going to beat Michigan State, I don't think. After that, all games should be in play. Just depends, how well they're grasping what he's doing. I think you'll see a much tougher team, a more physical team than you saw, but I think you're going to see a winning record. But is it going to be more than 7-8 wins? I'd be a little bit surprised if it's more than 8.
Yahoo Sports national college columnist Pat Forde joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. But what is the feeling at the Big Ten Media Day? I mean, they've got the national champion who has received 97% of the first place votes already in the first poll in Ohio State. Michigan State is at the top of its game. And there's Harbaugh. Wearing maize and blue, is there some sort of renewed confidence, perhaps, at that Big Ten media session, Pat?
Absolutely. There is a greater buzz about this league than I've seen in a long time. Maybe going back to like 2002. The Big Ten is back, I think a lot of people would say. I mean, there's a ton of people like myself that made a point of being here for this media day because of the reasons you said it. I mean, you not only have the defending champion, but a very top-heavy favorite to repeat. You have the most interesting coaching hire in the country. You have a Michigan State program that's all of a sudden back to being overlooked, even though it's a top 10 team. You've got James Franklin re-energizing Penn State, and they should be a lot better. You've got new coaches at Wisconsin and at Nebraska. So there's a lot of buzz and a lot of curiosity and a lot of interest in the Big Ten that hadn't been there in a while.
Who's going to be the quarterback for Michigan? Who's going to be Harbaugh's first hand-picked choice here to be the
he
QB?
certainly wasn't touching that at all today. He didn't go into specifics about any positions, and quarterback certainly among them. Whether it's Rudock, whether it's Shane Morris, the holdover from last year, he actually said, we're going to roll out the balls to give everybody a chance. We'll have, 5 quarterbacks out there competing starting August 7th. But, I would think it's going to be the Iowa transfer Rudock or it's going to be Shane Morris.
I got Pat Forde joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. What can you tell me about the 4 players suspended by Urban Meyer, including the guy that could be the first overall pick in next year's NFL draft, Joey Bosa? Any word on what they did to deserve the suspension?
There is not. You could probably make some common sense conjecture about what the undisclosed violation of athletic department policy usually is. I won't do that, but you could probably make a guess. I don't think it's earth-shattering violations by any stretch, and I don't think it's necessarily symptomatic of a problem in the Ohio State program. That they've gotten complacent, that they're on cruise control, they're still celebrating last year's championship. I don't think that's going to be the case. It does complicate an already competitive opener against Virginia Tech, which is a quality opponent, and it's a true road game, and it's Labor Day night. I mean, that now you take not only Joey Bosa out, but a couple of real playmaking receivers, and all of a sudden that game looks more competitive.
Pat Forde, Yahoo Sports, joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. Your latest column that the suspensions aren't a trouble sign for Ohio State. Why do you believe that?
I think that Meyer's got that program pretty well buttoned down, and I know that you can look back in retrospect and see that there were problems at Florida, but they won with those problems with guys that were not necessarily Eagle Scouts by any stretch. That didn't stop Florida from winning national titles and being at the top level of the game. I don't think it'll stop Ohio State either. And I think the depth there right now is so good that even if you've got some players that you have to sit down for a game, The other guys are really good. So, unless there's more under the surface that we're not hearing about in the locker room, I think they'll be just fine.
And, Harbaugh was interesting. He's dropping Bo Schembechler stories. He's holding up a Ditka jersey that he said Ditka gave him last night when he was having dinner with Ditka and the wives were around. And he mentions how Al Davis is somebody that he looks up to or he was influenced by. Is he dropping? Is he recruiting from the podium still when he says that stuff, or is that just Jim Harbaugh? Pat, what do you think?
I probably some of both. I think that he truly does. He can be a hard guy to engage in interviews. It just depends on his mood and where his head is and focus and everything. But if you want to get him talking in an excited fashion, bring up the guys he played for. I mean, that'll do it. If you start talking Ditka, Ted Marchibroda, Bo Schembechler, that will energize him. Even talking about his dad, you get him talking about Jack Harbaugh, and he gets excited. But does it hurt to be throwing around Mike Ditka and guys like that, Al Davis? No. I mean, everybody sells the NFL these days, and everybody was watching Jim Harbaugh in this setting here, so I don't think it hurts at all for him to remind people of his NFL credentials.
So which is going to be the first program to throw their hat into the Ohio State, Michigan State ring for the top spot in this conference? Who's it going to be, Pat?
Who's going to compete with those two?
No, just who's going to, at this point, and I'm fully admitting this, it's tough for me to admit it, but those are the two programs that are the class of the conference right now. Who's going to be the third? Which one's the third program to just raise its hand and compete in that forum?
Yeah, I think it's Michigan. I don't think it'll take long. I mean, to me, I'm still just amazed by what he did at Stanford. Stanford is a program that really had been stuck in neutral to reverse almost for a long time, and everybody just kind of thought, oh, it's too hard to recruit there. And all of a sudden, Harbaugh he built that niche, and we're just going to go get smart guys who are also physical beasts, and we're going to bludgeon people, and they develop that style. He can certainly do that at Michigan. There's going to be every bit as much recruiting reach. There's going to be more appeal of all of the bells and whistles that they have there. So I don't think it'll be long. I'm not saying it's going to be this year, but give him 2, maybe 3 years, and it's absolutely a 3-horse race, or else one of the two ahead of Michigan gets shoved out of the way.
Pat, thanks for joining in. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure, Rich. Thank you.
Thanks for calling in. That's Pat Forde of Yahoo Sports at Yahoo Forde here on The Rich Eisen Show.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.